Subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon to get notified for the latest tech videos.
Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Wasay here, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can deploy and host your Python application for free. So let's begin the video. For this, first of all, make sure that you have your code in a GitHub repo, either a private or a public repo. Secondly, we are going to use an application which is called Railway, which will allow us to host our Python application for free. Now, Railway has a free plan and a paid plan. With the free plan, you get up to $5 of credit for a month, so you can easily deploy your Python application for free with this credit, and you can also test it as well publicly. So let's move towards our PC and let me show you. Here I have a basic Python fast API application. If you are not using fast API, then the code will be a little bit different, and the basically packages that you're going to install will be different. In my case, I have fast API and I'm using the NumPy library. Basically, I have two API endpoints. One endpoint multiplies to number and the other endpoint takes the square of a number. So this is a very basic Python application, so that I can show you how you can deploy it. In your case, your application may be much more complex. So here is the code, and basically I have this GitHub repo which name is YouTube demo. Again, in your case it will be different. So first of all, clone your repo in your local environment, and now we are going to make some changes. Basically, in order to run or deploy Python application, we need to have a Docker file, because our Railway requires a Docker file, because it is going to deploy our application using containers. So that's why we need to have a Docker file where we are going to specify the environment like the Python, and we are also going to tell that which Python packages are necessary in order to run our application. In my case, fast API and NumPy are necessary. In your case, the list may be different. So in order to make the changes, first of all, make sure that you are in the correct branch. Currently I am in the develop branch, but I recommend that you make a feature branch and then make the changes. But anyways, once you have selected your branch, you're going to go to the root folder, click on this file icon, and we're going to create a file. In my case, Docker file. You're going to give the same name, and since this file is not in the root directory, we're going to pull it and place it outside in the main root directory of the folder. As you can see right here, we're going to create another file which is called requirements.txt, and again we're going to move it to the root directory of the folder. So in your case, you're going to have your main folder of the project, and then you're going to have these other files, but importantly you're going to have Docker file and the requirements file in the main root directory. Now in the requirements file, you're going to specify that which Python packages are necessary to run the application. In my case, fast API, UVCon and NumPy. In your case, the packages will be different depending on your Python code. Now once you have saved these, we are going to close it, and then we have our Docker file. We are going to use this code. So we are going to specify that which Python version we are going to use. Then we are going to say that the working directory will be application inside our Docker container. Then we are going to copy the requirements.txt file that we just created. Then we are going to install all the packages that we have defined inside the requirements file. Then we are going to copy the rest of the project inside our Docker container. We are going to expose port 8000. You can make a different port, or you can specify a different port that you want to expose. And lastly, we're going to run the fast API, because I have a fast API using this code. If you have some other Python code, then you need to specify it accordingly. In my case, UVCon is needed to run fast API. This is the location of the main file, the host, and the port. So this is very important. If you're running a fast API application, you need to know that where your main.py file is present. In my case, I'm saying that within the app folder, I have the main.py file, and if you look at the project directory, I have the main folder, then I have an app folder, and inside that I have my main.py file. So that's why it is written like this. If you have a little different directory, you need to change it accordingly. Once all done, click on the save button or Ctrl S, so that all the changes are saved. Now we're just simply going to push these changes to our repo on GitHub, so that we can deploy it. For that, just type git add within the root directory of the project, Then we're going to enter a commit message, and finally we're going to push our changes to our remote repo. Now here I'm just simply going to refresh my repos to make sure the files are present. As you can see, now we can move towards the railway application. So the website link will be in the video description just for your easiness. So from here, click on the login button. If you're making it for the first time, just click on continue with GitHub. It will ask you to authenticate Railway with GitHub, so allow it so Railway can actually access the repo from your GitHub and deploy your code. So from here we're going to click on new, select deploy from GitHub repo, configure GitHub app, and here it is asking whether you want to give access to all of your GitHub repos or to a specific one. So I'm going to select repositories, click on it, and I'm going to select the YouTube demo repo. After that, click on install and authorize. So what it will do is to redirect you back to the Railway application. So now we can just simply click on new again, deploy from GitHub repo. We're going to select our repo that we just added our code to, just select it, and if everything is okay, it should easily deploy it. So you can see it has started the deployment process. If I click on this menu, it's showing the initialization, build, and then deploy. So if there is some error in here, you can actually check the logs as well, and most of the times the error will come if you have not specified the correct packages that you are using in your application, or the fast API main.py location is not correct if you are using a fast API. So in majority of the cases, look at your Docker file or the requirements.txt file, because you may have missed some of the packages that are needed to run the application. In my case, you can see that deployment is successful, and you can also view the logs by clicking on the view logs button, and it will show you all the logs. Again, if your application is crashing, you can check these logs as well. In my case, it has worked successfully. So I'm going to close here. I'm going to go to the settings. We're going to scroll down, and from here you can also change the branch from develop to main or something depending on your need. Main thing is networking, so we're going to click on generate domain, so that we have a public URL from which we can access our hosted Python application. So we have deployed it and hosted it, and from this URL, which will be different for you, you can actually access the domain. So basically your application, not the domain. So you can see it is showing not found. Since this is a fast API, we need to type /docs at the end as well, and you can see it is showing both of my API endpoints. So let's just try any one of these out. So if I type the number 3, the square answer would be 9. As you can see, the square result is 9. So now our Python application is deployed and hosted on the web for free. So in this way, you can deploy your Python application for free using the Railway app. Again, for monthly usage, it has a $5 limit, so don't overuse it, because once your credit goes out, it will not work. Then you have to either pay for it or wait for the next month. But yeah guys, in this way you can host and deploy your Python application for free. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your friends. Anyways, thank you for watching, and as always, stay safe